watching all of our segments. Jennifer's giving some great tips and tricks on all home decor items. The next segment is going to be on rugs. So just a reminder too, we're coming back every hour on the hour for all these great tips. So this is our third segment. So I'm going to let you get started.
So we'll be airing at 1 o'clock after this. Plus, we're going to be announcing giveaway winners at the end of this little segment that we're doing now. So in about 13-15 minutes. Area rugs. Okay, the important areas in your home are like your entry. And sometimes it can be tricky. I am so into natural fiber rugs right now, and they're fairly affordable. I picked this color tone because it worked really well with my entry table. Got a little bit more of a golden tone here, so I wanted to ground that. Even though it's a neutral and it's a wood, you wouldn't think to bring it into the entry spot. But I did here, and it just made it easy to add some interest without having a ton of color. And I also picked this size because I was able to easily open the door and shut the door, and it just kind of grounded the space. So a good thing to think about when you're putting a rug in your entry. You don't have to have one at all. That's one of the spots you can get away without a rug, but don't let things teeter on it, especially in the entry. I've seen plants and trees halfway on the rug. That's a no-no. And if you want to know about a pad versus no pad, I have a pad here, but just because I want to show it to you, not because I typically have a pad here. A pad will hold the rug in place because oftentimes if you tape the corners down, that can ruin your floor, especially if you have hardwood floors. So a pad is good in that instance, but I'll show you what happens in the front door here. With a pad, I can barely get this door open. So I don't even think that's good feng shui. It's not a nice welcoming tip when I open this. Let's move on. Like, Jody's gonna come with us. I don't know if you guys have noticed, she's got an injury, so she's sitting most of today. We're gonna move, bear with us as we make all these light and location changes. This is the beauty of live Facebook. Okay, here we go. We're gonna move into this room. So this is a little sitting area. So imagine if you have a smaller living space or anything where you're still sitting and maybe entertaining or conversing. Sometimes even the smallest of the area rugs can live large in this space. This one is actually a vintage rug. It didn't cost a lot of money. It's called an overdyed rug. You've probably heard that term, and all it means is that a rug has been repurposed. Now, it's so popular right now, people are actually making these on purpose. But this is an old rug that was probably a really ugly color that was dated. And so it got shaved down, like literally all the top part of it got shaved down to the nubs. And then they just saturated it with dye, with black dye. And then that's how this beauty came about under early, I think it's beautiful.
Oh, I love the rug.
You do? These are really on trend, the overdyed, and the naturals. Do you use a lot of rugs in your home?
Yeah, I have a few rugs in my home, yes. I have one in the dining room. I know we're going to be going into the dining room, so we can talk a little bit about that then.
That's good. There are ways to add interest, and when you're selecting your rug, try to think about layering your room, and we're going to talk about layering in the room later on today, but I'll just give you a couple tips as it pertains to an area rug. You want to ground the floor with the color that you have in other areas of the room, and you can start with the area rug as your inspiration. Like, it can be an art piece all on its own, so if you have a rug you love, you can then decorate around it. But if you have, like, I actually found this pillow that I loved first, and then I built the rug around it. So you can do it in reverse. And with the furniture, a good rule of thumb when you're thinking about an area rug is all the furniture on it or off it. At least that's what used to be the rule, but you can break the rules. Like this sofa, it's halfway intersecting, which is completely fine. But I'll tell you what's not fine. Hey, Oliver, are you here to help? He's our little helper today. What's not good is taking a chair and having some of the legs on and some of the legs off to where it teeters. It's just not comfortable when someone sits down, and it doesn't look good. However, I will tell you, you can break those rules, and I show you how we did that when we get to our living room. So depending on if it's really nice and stable, but oftentimes it's nice to have the chair on or completely off, or at least two legs, not one leg teetering. All right, let's move on, and we'll go, oh, actually one tip, your draperies. It's really good to tie your drapery into your rug somehow if you can. But at least to establish that color tone is nice. Or completely avoid it altogether and have the drapery be the same color as your wall, and then it doesn't have to match the rug specifically or even coordinate with it at all, because then it works and it's just a shade textural difference against the wall color.
Do you suggest getting if you get your drapes or curtains first versus your rug, or vice versa, or is there any kind of like basic rule for that?
You can go both ways, and I would find something you love first. So let's say you move into a home, it's got draperies and you don't want to pay money to change the draperies because draperies can be expensive. Then find a rug to coordinate with it.
Got it.
But if you find a rug that you love, especially because it's something that can transition with you from home to home, I would do that and then decorate around it. But it's literally pick what inspires you the most, which happened to be this pillow for me. It could be your artwork, and then you draw a color, but the most important thing is to ground the room with that color. The other thing you can do is, well, actually I'll show you in the other room. I'll bring up, let's go.
Okay, that's
one more
perfect.
location change.
Okay.
We're going to show you now how to put an area rug into a bedroom setting. So we're going to go back into the up close and personal right now. Sorry guys. We're going to go back into a guest bedroom, and I'll show you how to pick the right size for each bed size. Come on through here. And back into the guest bedroom where we were earlier. And this area rug, it's a natural. So if you have a queen bed, the best size area rug, no matter what, because queen size beds do not vary in their size, get an 8 by 10 rug. And you're welcome to come hang out with Julie if you want to with us. And what you want to do with this is you want to pull it just about 6 inches in front of the nightstand, because then whoever's in the bed can get down and step onto the rug, and it's not a tripping hazard. If you come about 4 feet away from the bed and someone moves this way, they can easily trip on the rug in the middle of the night. And then this gives enough also to where it extends to the foot of the bed. With this color choice, this is a natural, and it doesn't necessarily blend with the drapes, but it works because it's just a textural change on the floor, and it's nice and neutral, and it also ties back into the headboard and into the linen lampshades. But again, if it's similar to the floor, it doesn't necessarily have to tie into the rest of that. So there's just a couple takeaways for it. Oh, if you have a king bed, because I'm not going to traipse you back into the master bedroom again. If you have a king bed, a 9 by 12 or a 9 by 13 works really well. But again, bring it about 6 inches right up to the nightstand so it's not a tripping hazard, and then it will ribbon the whole outside of the bed. You can also layer rugs. There are all kinds of things that you can do, but 8 by 10 for queen, 9 by 12 for king. Last location change for this area rug piece, I promise. Dining rooms, because I often get asked, should I have a rug in my dining room or should I not? And here's little Jax and Oliver. This is exhausting work for them filming today. Actually, they love it. They just wish that they would be invited to be in each section, I think, of the house. Okay, so dining room. I don't have an area rug underneath my dining room table right now. But I'll tell you what, you can have one, and you also don't have to have one. The reason I don't have one is there wasn't an easy way to put one in here without tripping over it. It didn't really help anything, and I wasn't looking for that extra texture or interest in the room. If I were to pick a rug, I'd probably do a sea grass or something really, really thin. When you're picking your rug for the dining table, the very most important thing, more than color, more than shape, more than anything, is to make sure that you have 2 feet at least around every side of the table. Actually, I'm going to use you as an example. Just like you actually, can you face the table?
Yep.
And then pull your chair, pretend you're sitting at the table, have your chair. Okay, so This is going to be as far out as Jody is on the table. And so you want to allow, and this is for no matter what size chair you have, a good rule of thumb is a minimum of 24 inches because you don't want her sliding her chair back and getting caught on the rug at all. You just don't even want to have to be a thought whatsoever around the entire table. So same goes for the head of the table. Give it at least 24 inches. And if you can't find a rug that's big enough, because I get asked this all the time, don't use a rug. Just don't do it because it's dangerous and it won't look good. Another thing you can do is you can go to a carpet store and find a remnant and tell them the exact size that you want for your dining room table, and they can cut it and bind it in an affordable way to address an area rug. Now you said you have an area rug.
Yes, and based on the comments you gave me, I shouldn't have the area rug there.
Okay, so fix it and we're going to come back and take it over your dining room. What do you think is wrong with your rug?
Well, I think it's not large enough because I have my table's almost as big as this, so it's a very large dining room table with large chairs. So I think that the rug just isn't long enough.
Yeah, you may not even need a rug. The rug where it adds something is if you feel like your dining room just needs that extra pop of color or some kind of punch, and then it works well. Okay, so we've got a lot of giveaways, and we also have a lot of your questions that you've been sending in, and we're going to go outside and we're going to do the giveaway first, and then we're going to answer your questions. All right, we've made you move with us a lot here, and we're now going to actually sit down, which will help you in perfect timing because then you can have lunch, and you know that you're not going to have to. We're not going to spin you around after you've eaten your food for the next segment. All right, so we've got our next giveaway. Sorry, Jody, I have it in front of you.
I'm going to grab up the questions
All right.
that we have, so I'll let you do the giveaway first. So this is the next giveaway.
So the next giveaway that we have is a Cal King Luxe sheet set. It seems like, hey Jax, he's here to hang out. This is Jackson. This is his perching spot. It's where he loves to be.
Now he's like, I don't have a spot for me.
I know. Well, I don't care about these giveaways. Just come. You can come on if you want to. It's okay. So Luxe Cal King sheet sets, and the next giveaways will move on to robes and pillows and that mattress. So the winners are, we've got 4 winners of the Cal King sheet set. We've got Beverly Brown. We have, is that Haisa, or I misspell it, Hisea Henderson. Sorry, I couldn't get the pronunciation just right. Linda Pilgreen, and our final winner of the Cal King Luxe sheet set is Sharon Thompson. Congratulations, all, it seems like all women, but Haisa could be whoever, but whoever won, congratulations. I'm really excited for you. Okay, so we've been getting some questions from
Yes, we've been getting a lot of questions from our Facebook fans, and we love to answer those. So we thought, hey, let's at the end of this segment answer some of our questions, and then we'll also be compiling the questions, and at the very last segment we'll answer some more questions. So,
right.
Okay, so
bring them on.
Okay, perfect. So Patrice said, what kind of furniture would look good in a 1950s split level house?
That's a good question. I would tend to go modern, clean line, not overly fussy, and that's really what's going on right now anyway, and just simple with a lot of texture. In fact, our 3 o'clock segment, we're going to talk about how to make something modern and still warm, so tune back in for that question, but good question.
Great. Okay, so Katie said, what is the best way to keep light sheets from looking dingy over time?
That is a common question. I'll tell you, bleach is not the go-to answer. Check your care tag to see if you can use bleach or not use bleach, because bleach can break down a fabric. You could try vinegar in the water. You can also try a little bit of baking soda, and those 2 things tend to work. But I'll tell you, depending on where you live, sometimes it's unavoidable. Some of the water is, like, especially in Mexico, water tends to be a little bit more of a brown tone, and it's a known fact that white sheets just tend to turn dingy after a while. Baking soda and vinegar, that might help.
Okay, great. So Margaret said, what are some decorating ideas for bathroom towels?
Oh, we're actually gonna, I think our next segment is about bathrooms. Can I have you hold tight for that? And we'll get right back to that at 1 o'clock.
Okay, good question. Sounds good. So Tuck said, what are some tips for choosing new carpet throughout a home?
Good question. Low pile. You don't want shag carpets right now. It's just not in. So something, you could do a looped pile or a very low
pile, just something very simple. I love light tones. I think light's in right now, and light and bright. But if you're afraid of staining, I would get something that's got just an off-white, so almost like the color of this sofa or the color of the stripe on this pillow. Light, neutral. I wouldn't recommend going for a big, bold, dramatic color because that's a lot of carpet across your house. I did once put purple in one of my guest bedrooms. I was 19 and I regretted that. Actually 21.
Yeah, a question I have is how do you decide, like, for a new home, if you have like carpet versus hardwood versus different kind of texture on there?
That would be budget driven. Mm-hmm. So carpet tends to be the most affordable solution for a home.
Okay.
But also it's tough because you have to vacuum it continually because it shows traffic. Some carpets do, and it also can stain. So if hardwoods add a lot of warmth, and it used to be you could only add hardwoods if you had more of a dry climate and too much, or if you didn't have a real extreme climate. So too much humidity or too dry could wreak havoc on the hardwoods. But now there are a lot of engineered hardwoods, so you can have hardwood flooring in almost any climate now. In stone, it's just, again, budget driven, and it's beautiful, but it can be expensive.
Okay, great. So next question is from Georgianne. She said, where should rugs be placed in bedrooms?
Georgianne, so I know you sent this in right before this last segment, so probably your question's answered. But just to recap it, bring it up about 6 inches just before the nightstand, and then have an 8x10 for a queen and a 9x12 for a king, and then it should just lay out perfectly.
Okay, great. So Nancy said, what sheets are sold at Costco? So what sheets do you have?
Thank you for asking. I never thought you'd ask. So our Eternal collection is sold in special events in U.S., Canada, UK, and coming to Mexico, which is exciting, and also on Costco.com. And our Luxe sheet sets you can find at an introductory one-time price in a couple locations that we announce week by week. So those are just few and far between, but they are at Costco.
Okay, great. So Lindsay wanted to know what made you decide to launch your own line?
Oh, thank you, Lindsay, for asking. It was a big passion of mine. Coming from nothing, making people's beds, I've always been really obsessed with the beds just in general. I would make young kids' beds and realize the bedding was scratchy, the mattresses were typically terrible, and then depending on the wealth of the family, the beds generally got more comfortable. And I just started thinking, why do they deserve to sleep well, but the other families don't deserve to sleep well? It just kept hitting me. And then as an adult, making my living as a designer and designing again for very affluent homes, and I was always asked, what's the perfect bed? Make my bed be so perfect. Well, so I was really on a search across the world for how to make the perfect bed. So I was testing fabrics, and long story long, this is the long answer to it. I was obsessed with the bed making process, and I found a fabric that I absolutely loved, and I launched it and got very fortunate with where it's going today, and we've been, knock on wood, expanding our line, and I absolutely love it. So.
Well, I love that story. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you. It's a long one.
So Barb said she can't find the right rug for her home, so she was excited to hear how you picked out the area rug. So thank you, she said, for that.
Thank you.
And then also we received our comment from one of our winners, Lucinda. She's really excited, and she said thanks for participating. And so Lucinda, we hope you enjoy your sheet set that you won.
You're welcome, Lucinda.
And it was really great to see Melanie commented, and she said that she already arranged her nightstand exactly like you told her, and she said it looks great. She used the white covers on the books and then the three things. So
send us a picture. Can you maybe post pictures of your nightstand or any of the little things that you're doing on Costco's Facebook page so we can see?
Yeah, well, actually, you could send it to our Costco Care at Costco.com. They can email it there.
Great.
And then we can see it from there. So.
I forget all the technicalities.
Yes.
Thank you. That's good. All right, so next up we're actually going to take you to my very most intimate space, and you're going to come into my master bedroom, which we completely gutted and just finished it, and then also to one of our guest bathroom where we did a complete remodel, and I'm going to show you what we did, but also some simple tips on accessorizing and just keeping it very spa-like. So,
okay, perfect.
So that's at 1 o'clock, right?
Yes, 1 o'clock. So we'll see everybody back at 1 o'clock.
See you soon.
Thank you.